Welcome to the Daryl Dixon recap. After leaving the Commonwealth, Daryl tracked on for a while, until his bike lost fuel. Running into a stranger, he tells him about a program they have for fuel. The survivors will get 1 pint of fuel per walker, and a quart for the fresh ones. They set out for the day. As Daryl collects the most walkers and retrieves the most pints, a newbie, TJ, asks to join Daryl so they can collect more walkers together, but Daryl turns him down. That night, TJ asks to join Juno's crew. He agrees if TJ keeps the fire lit all night, so he begins chopping down the wood, and fond of TJ, Daryl gives him advice on cutting wood. He splits off to use the station's radio. Calling Carol at the Commonwealth, she tells him about a person that has returned, but before saying the name, the radio cuts off. The next day, Daryl spots that Juno has tricked TJ into becoming a walker. Furious, he beats up Juno. They are both kicked out of camp and placed onto a ship as feed for the walkers. They realize they are being moved to France. As the last two survivors, Daryl fights off the guards and releases the walkers. Him and Juno retreat to an escaped vessel. A juiced up walker jumps on them. Abandoning Juno, Daryl takes the lifeboat to France. He tracks through the desolate and walker-filled plains, encountering a blind father and his daughter. He trades medicine for fresh produce. They are intercepted by mercenaries. They surround them and begin to loot them. Daryl manages to disarm them, and together they kill the mercenaries. Not blind, the father knocks out Daryl. Almost out, Daryl spots people approaching him. Waking up in the church, Daryl thanks them for saving him and interacting with the only child and said chosen one, Laurent. Sister Isabel tries to convince Daryl to stay and help them bring Laurent to the promised land. Not wanting to help and return home to the Commonwealth, Daryl quickly leaves the church. Steph and Kodron approaches the fleeing pair, asking about where the 3 previous mercenaries are. The pair try to lie and get themselves out, but her grandfather is killed for lying. Taking her back to the scene, Kodron discovers that his brother has become zombified, and he is forced to put him down. Angered, he rushes off to find the American. Hearing vehicles approaching, Daryl hides in the brushes. Kodron approaches the church with extra mercenaries. Demanding to see the American, they force their way into the entrance. On their toes, they quickly hide Laurent, disguising themselves as a church boarding school for women, believing the school is hiding him. Without any option, they threaten to kill the father, and they do so, causing Laurent to run out. They quickly grab him, but Daryl has returned and begins to murder the mercenaries. As the nuns fight back, Kodron knows he is losing and flees the scene, barely managing to get away as the last mercenary. The survivors of the attack are Daryl, Sister Isabel, Sister Sylvie, and Laurent. Stuck in this group, Daryl agrees to help them venture to their oasis. Entering a decrepit wasteland full of walkers, the donkey won't move forward. Releasing him as a diversion, the group make their way on foot, and they are caught by child hunters. Brought to their preschool and met by temporary leader Lou, they introduce themselves as passing sisters and Father Daryl, even reciting verses from specific scripture. They are invited in for dinner, meeting their teacher and the only adult, Madame Debeau. She is sick and in need of medicine. At dinner, Father Daryl is made to say grace. Afterwards, Lou informs them about the castle that has all the material and supplies, guarded by one man. The last time they tried to siege it, they lost kids. Lying and convincing Lou that the medicine in the towels will save Madame Debeau. Lou agrees to send them to the castle tomorrow. Sharing a bed, Sister Isabel doesn't agree with the way Dixon lied to try and manipulate Lou into getting a horse. At the same time, she lied to Laurent about how they sent the donkey off. Nearing the castle, Father Daryl and Lou try to find the weapons in the shed, but he locks her inside, wanting to work alone and protect her. Climbing the drawbridge, he finds a child held captive. Arming him with a rifle, Daryl sneaks out as bullets rain in. Catching the American sniper off guard, he pleads for his life, but Daryl strings him up and allows the kids to decide his fate. As they leave, they tussle for the gun and fall into the pit of walkers. The American sniper is eaten, and Daryl manages to escape with the help of the kids. Returning with the medicine, they discover that Madame Debeau has already passed. Saddened by this reality, they try to comfort Lou and advise her to keep on going as their leader. As the group continue on with a new horse, they follow Sister Isabel's plan of finding a friend that can assist them across the ocean. But this doesn't lead far. They resolve to Daryl's plan to travel to Paris. They cross a cemetery and are stopped by rebels. Knowing about their father Pierre John, the rebels allow Daryl's group in. They explain the inner workings of the Paris politics. Pierre John told of a child that would save them, captain of the ship and faction Puerville. Madame Janet's ideals clash with the resistance. She wants an authoritarian regime, whilst the resistance wants freedom. Unable to sleep with the passing of her brother, Laurent helps a woman put this to rest. They are told about the nest, their sanctuary, and the place where Lausanne is located. In Sister Isabel's past, she lived with her sick sister. One day, as the outbreak occurred, Quinn, her boyfriend, helped her escape. Collecting her sister, they quickly fled the city. Quinn had ideals of abandoning the sick sister. but in fact they abandoned him. Arriving at the church, her sister was actually pregnant, birthing Laurent, the chosen one. As she became a walker, they moved on. They returned to Isabel's home, where she collects drugs to barter with, and a photo of her sister or Laurent's mother at the Eiffel Tower. They entered the catacombs. The place over 6 million people died as a result of the Black Death. Transformed into a nightclub, Sylvie meets a boy. A singer, Anna interacts with Laurent, wanting to go visit the Eiffel Tower like his mother. She gives him her Eiffel Tower pendant, and Isabel runs into Quinn, still alive and actually owner of the nightclub. He agrees to help Laurent and Daryl go back to the Commonwealth if Isabel stays with him, but Daryl is against this idea and decides on another option. Quinn also reveals that he's Laurent's father. Him and her sister had an affair, arguing over telling Laurent. He overhears them at night. Now working for Madame Jana, she has an alliance with Quinn. He informs them that Daryl is hiding at the rebellion hideout. They quickly evade them by moving through the roofs. Deciding to reconvene at Isabel's apartment, they meet at the apartment, but no one has Laurent. Thinking about where he could be, they realize the Eiffel Tower. Racing to the Eiffel Tower, they spot walkers scattered everywhere, and Laurent. Fighting off the walkers to get to Laurent, a car passes by and grabs him, leaving one of their members as stragglers. Laurent is brought back to Quinn, and he hides Laurent in a room with Anna. Elsewhere, Madame Jana asks for Quinn to help find the American and the boy Laurent, to kill the American for what he did to her ship, and Laurent to destroy the rebellion symbol. Daryl is forced to torture Quinn's henchmen. He explains that there is a secret way into Quinn's nightclub. They decide to create a diversion outside of the club, whilst Daryl and the henchman sneaks into Quinn's nightclub. When they are distracted, he will retrieve Laurent, and they will escape. Reconvening after the successful operation, they find out that Madame Jana has sent people to block off the exits of the city. Isabel is forced to return to Quinn to ask him for a favor to get Daryl and Laurent out of the city. He agrees, because he only wanted Laurent to get Isabel back. Daryl and Laurent depart with Aslan, the boat driver and a devoted servant of Lausanne. Laurent still wants to get Isabel back. Daryl won't listen because this is their only chance out. Aslan explains why he is a devoted servant to Lausanne. When his wife and children were killed by walkers and he was lost, Lausanne gave him a watch to fix. It was his first time. Taking months, he finally fixed the watch. Once he returned it, Lausanne told him that the watch didn't matter anymore because he had found a purpose in life. Daryl is woken by a walker. Outside, Aslan had been infected. Promising to take Laurent to the nest, Aslan passes. In the morning, Daryl finds that the mooring rope has been cut, finding out that Laurent cut the rope so they could go back and save Isabel, but he forces them to walk by foot to the nest. Hearing vehicles nearby, they run into the woods, telling Laurent to abandon him. Daryl runs at the pursuer but is captured. Not long after, Laurent is also captured. At the castle, Isabel thinks about trying to kill Quinn as he tries to regain her love. They are invited out to Madame Jana's event. A man is killed for letting Daryl and Laurent out of the city. Quinn is imprisoned and Laurent is coerced into giving a speech to bring the resistance to join Madame Jana, forming a one true France. But first they have a spectacle. Daryl is made to fight a walker. He is injected with steroid serum, impaling it with a flag. They move on to the next course. Chained to Quinn, they are forced to kill multiple juiced up walkers. After a massive tussle, they finish all the walkers. The resistance erupts into a massive fight, and they escape out the gates. They realize that Quinn has been bitten, and he sacrifices his arm for Daryl, and sends himself into the oncoming troops, allowing Daryl to escape. Stuck on the other side of a gate, Laurent is forced to kill his zombified father to protect Isabel. They manage to flee into the nearing area. Meanwhile, Madame Jana sends Stefan to finish the job and kill them all. He catches them outside the city and filled with rage, he is told to kill Laurent first. Unable to kill the child, he shoots the mercenaries and allows Daryl's group to survive. Returning to Madame Jana, he is taken away to be tortured. The group arrive at the nest, and as promised, Lausanne has sent word for a boat to take Daryl back to the Commonwealth. He sneaks out of the nest and spots a boat. Before reaching the shore, Laurent calls out for Daryl. He wavers with the choice of going back to the Commonwealth or returning to the nest with a somewhat loving family. Carol beats a man for stealing Daryl's bike, trying to track down where Daryl has gone. This is where the story ends. Make sure to subscribe, and for more, watch this.